You've seen fractals, right? Those, super complex, gorgeous patterns that just keep repeating. But what if they're not just some cool mathematical art? What if, and this is a big what if, one of them is actually the blueprint for, well, for reality itself? That's exactly what we're going to get into today.
So, here's the plan. We're going to start by looking at these patterns in a whole new way. Then we'll dig into the universal law that's supposedly running the show. After that, we'll figure out how to read its map, see where this blueprint pops up all around us, and finally, get our heads around what might just be the geometric signature of reality. It's going to be a trip. All right, first up, let's push past just how cool these shapes look. It's time to ask a much bigger question. Think about it for a second. The way lightning forks across the sky, the jagged edge of a coastline, even the delicate structure of a snowflake. They all have that same kind of fractal-y feel, right? It's so easy to just write it off as, a coincidence. But what if it's not? And that right there, that's the absolute heart of what we're digging into. What if nature isn't just winging it, making things that kind of look the same by accident? What if it's following a strict universal rulebook, and that rulebook leaves behind a very specific, very geometric fingerprint every single time? Okay, so that brings us to the rulebook. It's called the Law of Coherence, and we've got the key that supposedly lets us read it. So this is it, the psi lambda coherence fractal. And let's be clear, this is way more than just a pretty picture. The claim is that it's a direct visual representation of a universal law. In other words, it's a map that comes directly from the physics of how our universe actually organizes and stabilizes itself. Pretty wild, right? This comparison here really nails the difference. So you've probably heard of the Mandelbrot set, right? That's born from pure abstract math. It's fascinating, but it's a mathematical curiosity. The psi lambda fractal, on the other hand, is totally different. It supposedly comes from a real universal physical law, this thing called the law of coherence, which has that formula delta psi lambda equals 0. So one's a cool math problem, and the other claims to be a model of how the universe actually works. Okay, so if this thing really is a map of a universal law, then how the heck do we read it? Let's break it down and decode this blueprint. Think of this as the legend for our map of reality. See that black part in the middle? That's the core. Perfect coherence, absolute stability. Everything's in order there. Now, look at that crazy, colorful, detailed border. That's the transition zone, where things get interesting, where stability starts to break down. And then all that lighter stuff on the outside, that's total chaos, complete decoherence. So what we have here are basically three fundamental states of being for, well, anything. You've got the super stable, orderly state in the black core. You've got that wild, transitional state right on the edge, and then you've got the completely chaotic state on the outside. A great way to think about it is like a universal version of solid, liquid, and gas. Order, transition, and chaos. All right, this is the part where it gets really cool. This is where it all clicks into place. We've got the map, we've got the legend, so now let's go find this thing out in the real world. So the big question is, where does this so-called universal blueprint actually show up? I mean, if it's really universal, we should see its fingerprint, that fractal shape, pretty much everywhere. And the claim is, we do. And just get a load of the scale we're talking about here. This exact same fundamental pattern of organization is said to appear in galaxies, and in clouds, and in the neural networks in our brains, all the way down to our own cell membranes. I mean, from the cosmic to the microscopic, it's the same pattern. And this is the absolute key takeaway. It's not just that these things look similar. That would just be a neat coincidence. The argument is that they are all the direct physical result of the exact same universal law of coherence doing its thing. It's one rule, playing out on every single scale you can imagine. Which brings us to our final, really powerful conclusion, the big idea to walk away with. This quote really just says it all. Fractality is not a mathematical artifact, but a direct consequence of the law delta C lom equals 0. In plain English, the fractal shapes you see everywhere in nature aren't random accidents. They are the unavoidable outcome of the universe following this one simple rule to stay stable. So when you see that complex, beautiful border between order and chaos, whether you're looking at a cloud or a galaxy or this very fractal, you're looking at reality's geometric signature. It's the visible line that this universal law draws in the sand, separating what holds together from what falls apart. And that leaves us with a pretty mind-bending thought to end on, doesn't it? If a rulebook this profound can be hidden in a shape we see all the time, it just makes you wonder, what other fundamental secrets about how our universe works are just waiting for us to find them, written in the geometry of the world all around us?